Well, and indeed. How are you? Good. I'm glad. I am really keen on you being happy. I just doing something over here. Don't worry your head about it. Don't worry. It's okay. It's all done. There we are. Okay, no problem. That's done. Hi, and welcome to another episode of Snowball Farming with the Snowball... What? Snowball King? Snowball Master? Snowball Farmer? Farmer Snowball? Farmer Snowball. I am Farmer Snowball, and let's farm some snowballs, because those snowballs aren't going to farm themselves. It's certainly something you need humans to do, to farm snowballs. There aren't even any snowball farming bees or monkeys or anything like that. No, it's very disappointing really, the level of snowball farming that exists in the world so far. Extremely low level, really only individual specific people doing anything of the sort. Well, what snowball are we going to farm today? Let's have a look, shall we? Don't mind if we do. Here it is. Oh, Millions of Years of Longing by Paknia. Now, I don't really know much about Paknia, only that I think, well, one of my friends suggested I listen to some songs. Orchid Underneath is an album. I think there was something from one of that I listened to, but maybe it was also The Dream Is This. Or maybe it was Waiting Part 1. Either way, I can't remember. I don't remember individual songs. I only remember collections of songs and their connections. That's how I think. That's how I farm. Okay? If you farm elsewise, that's fine. Go and do it on your own farm. But not me. I'm going to be Waiting Part 1, and then I'm going to be Solace, etc. Let's see how it is. It's relatively short, isn't it? I mean, 26 minutes. Would that I could get through 26 minutes of music on a stream of 2 hours, but I can't. I can generally only get through about 10 to 15. That's how it is. Let's see if I can get through maybe the first 4 tracks. We'll see. There's always a chance I'll get further. Right, so ba ba ba, straightforward synth part in the background. Might be a piano, but it's so hidden in the background that you can't really make out if it's a played instrument or if it's a synth, or yeah. But it has a little bit of a percussive hit to it, and there's a clear rhythm straight away. Semi-quavers, 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 semi-quavers. Why not? Let's look up how fast we're going. This is the most exciting part of every song. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Come on, tap tempo. What's old bandwidth problem? There we go. About 90, 92. Yeah, I just missed a beat, so don't know. But 92-ish, cool. That's fast enough, isn't it? And immediately into semiquavers. Not absolutely constant, but it's there, so quite propulsive. And then we've got these strange vocal interludes, which are in a different place altogether. Yeah, so one in the left and then one in the right. Sounds like an echo of the first. Something like that. The last one ends on do, whereas the first one ends on oh. I think. Oh no, okay, they could well be the same one. Yeah, they're kind of distorted. They don't feel backgrounded. And they don't have nearly the same space as the other thing. The other thing occupying this quite large, boomy space, but this is just like a phone recording really close to your ear. Okay, it's slightly warping. It doesn't seem like da 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 da. No, it's like boo ba doodle doo ba doodle. Okay, so as that first vocal line for the first verse comes in, or maybe the chorus, suddenly we clear up the texture a little bit. We go from having quite a wishy-washy, watery sound to a little bit more of a bright splashy sound. And it's lovely. So here's the first chord. Oh god. There we go. So really only the bass gives us anything different in the chord bases. We get those notes from the other one, which is the same as ba-da-da, just up an octave, but then we've got these bass notes. So they disrupt what's relatively comfortable as a sonorance. And they give, well, especially that first one, because we've got the D against the G sharp there. It's a tritone. There's also a major seventh in there as well. So it's really kind of like, if we had this one in there as well, it would be like two chords a semitone apart stacked on top of each other. But it's not that. And then, yeah, we go to a slightly more placid kind of major seventh add 13 chord on the second one on A. So D and A. 4, 1, that feels pretty comfortable. And when we get to that one, the background thing changes, the synth changes from being that sus4 chord there to this minor chord. Well, minor chord on its own, but with the bass note, it makes the upper half of that major seventh chord. And we've got ding in the melody too, so quite a complicated chord, but overall diatonic harmony for A major, so we're not looking at anything too crazy on those first two chords. Waiting. Simple melody, and the chord that goes with it is G sharp to C sharp minor. Well, we weren't expecting to be in C sharp minor, but that's a pretty clear perfect cadence there. The G sharp is the unusual one that has that B sharp in it, and so it feels a little more chromatic, but still a pretty comfortable kind of place for any kind of jazz interested person. Yeah, and the synths are getting a little more complicated and they're much clearer, aren't they? We've got a real pinginess to them now, not just that low rumble. The bass is coming through thicker in this one too. There's occasional things in the background as well, which just feel like extra sort of bright noises, and I'm slightly worried it might be my tinnitus, but I think it is probably in the recording. Yeah, just shimmery, slightly metallic kind of sounds. How long is this? What's the tempo kind of working here? If this is our beat, how's it going? It's a bar of 4, a bar of 3, and a bar of 4 again. Unusual. An 11 beat cycle. Doesn't feel uncomfortable really. We've got a lot of open space. So if anything, the longness of it is the difficulty, rather than it being one shorter than 12. 12 would be a nice number, but really it's more like it's 3 longer than 8. So we've got these big open spaces that are slightly unconventional. Open space. Open space. Okay, we're keeping with the same, yeah, the same chord sequence, it sounds like, and the same texture except for the voice. The voice seems to have disappeared. Interesting that there's no waiting part 2 on this album. Guess whatever she was waiting for must have arrived. And the most important thing, don't distract yourself with humour, you silly man. Most important thing here is the drums. The drums have suddenly entered, haven't they? Hi-hat, just solely hi-hat. Oh, okay, and that's very exciting. Let's hear it again. What's happening? An accelerando, an accelerando. Very good. Yeah, it's getting faster, isn't it? Very exciting. Yeah, and then we're into a different rhythm. So there's some kind of echo on the snare at least, but maybe the rest of the drum kit too. No, it is just on the snare, I think. We've got constant hi-hats. Okay, well, how fast are we going now then? 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Why do I always close the page? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, it's around 120. Around 120. So we've gone from 90 to 120. That's an increase of a third of the tempo increase. So we're now at like 4/3 tempo rather than 3/3 tempo. So that's fast. Yeah. Oh, I don't know what to say about that. It's got faster, but it's still, I would say, not at a super fast tempo, is it? 120 is pretty regular. Maybe on the faster side of regular in broader music context, but it's still not thrash metal. We're still just doing fine with tempo. Has anything else come in to fill the gap of the voice, or is it just the drums doing their own thing? Well, there's another synth going shimmer, 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 shimmer. Maybe panning a little bit as well. We've got quite a thick synth layer. Like there's not that much interest going on in most of them, but there is a bit of a melody in the highest one. Let's hear it a little bit. Dum, dum, da, dum, dum. Something like that. Keeping up that 6th added to that A chord. Still got the same chord sequence. We've still got an 11 beat cycle as well, but it feels a little bit different because the rhythm is a little bit different. The drums are pretty regular, aren't they? 2, 3, 4. No, they're not. So yeah. So on that 3 beat one, they suddenly change what is a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. Something special at the end of that 3. Yeah, dump. Ba-dum, da. Carry on. There's little bits of voice swirling in and out. Oh. Okay. I think we've still got that same chord sequence and the same rhythm underpinning it, but we've lost a certain amount of our rhythmic instruments in this section. Still got the drums are there, but they're giving a different rhythm. Much more on the kick drum, and slightly more erratic. I'm going to have to open the window because it is really hot in here. Okay, let's go, keep going, keep going. Oh no, put my headphones on before my guitar. Am I going to be able to deal with this? Difficult situation to deal with. But if this comes over like this, no longer a difficult situation. A fixed situation, almost. Oh no! Let's just make sure I've not done the really silly thing. I haven't. There we go. Doesn't quite feel right, but it is. Just get used to it. Put your worries to the one side and learn that this is the real way of doing things. Okay. So we were in, what, a verse section probably. So our waiting bit. Waiting. I guess I could show you how we could make that more conventional, is we could have equal weighting for each of those chords. Something like boring, right? Just saying waiting equally both times, and with chords that move at the same speed. Instead of that, we've got quite a fast change from the first one. Now we've got a real length to that second one. And then this third one is as fast as anything. And then the fourth one, again, is not compared to the others equal. It's a little bit closer to the second one in terms of length, but it's not there. This one's 1, 2, then this one's 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, actually, I guess it probably is 4. 1 and then 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3. Yeah, so we've got a 2, a 4, a 1 and a 4, rather than 2s, 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 4s, 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 4s. That would be the more conventional way of doing things. And I think we've still got that rhythmic change and that harmonic change under this verse, but the voice is giving us quite a different balancing to how the rhythm feels. Time is thing I just can't give myself. Right? So very off the beat, very syncopated, and that da 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 suddenly is a lot of rush as we're going into that that last chord. Yeah, I think the chords might change a little bit earlier. It feels like it's changing on the offbeat. Let's look a bit closer. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We've still got the same, but the feels like actually this is 1.5 and this is 3.5, which makes it all the more uncomfortable in a strange way. Yeah, it's almost like there's a gap, so it's in the waiting room, something like that. Yeah. What's that note that's being held on in each of these first bits? So here. Okay, so it's an E, so that E fits with the D pretty nicely. It's the 9th, then it's the 5th of the A chord, which is nice. Then it goes down for the G sharp, which is nice because we would have a flat 16th, no, flat 16th, wow, flat 13th on this one if it were to continue, but we don't. We get the 7th, the 5th, and then the 7th, and then it's the 3rd on the C sharp minor. So that works very nicely, that one. And then this next one, after this, well, that's the major 7th on that chord, the 3rd on this one, and it would be the 4th on the G sharp, but I imagine it goes down. Yeah. So everything else. And then it goes back and is the 1st on the C sharp minor. So on that last one, da, da, we still got that first rhythm there, but we didn't get the 3rd iteration. It wasn't da, 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 but it was just da, da. And that allowed the change in texture to become more apparent. Getting brighter again. So we were in a darker texture there, like you know, like the come down in a club where we're not all just smashed off our faces dancing as fast as possible. I'm so familiar with this experience. But instead, we are just taking it easy, relaxing. Maybe it's time to head to the bar, but then it all comes back again. Oh, we didn't get a drink, but we're back out. And the snare is back in the drums, and this feels like the first section, but with drums now. So it's almost like a fully realized first section. Okay, but it's not that, is it? It's the verse. What am I doing? It's the verse again. Again, we didn't have that middle one. Nice ad-lib extra there. So that, going up to that top A, fits quite nicely with that A chord, as it's an A chord, that would be expected. And then just jumping straight down, and I think it's between the voices as well, so she's doing more in a falsetto, and then coming down slightly more gracefully to the D sharp there. Okay, so there, the last bar was used as a little bit of a dropout, but it was way more interesting than your average dropout, because what did it reveal? What did it reveal? Crazy stuff going on in the bass. We didn't hear that before. And some did-up going on in the left as well. So taking out that main oppressive, massive synthesizer sound reveals some wonderful detail that would have gone unnoticed, and did go unnoticed. Okay, now we're with more of a soft synthesizer that has more of a stringy kind of feel, this kind of sound. This kind of thing. Yeah. What to say about that, eh? I don't really know. I think that it's softer, more emotional, less high energy, and it's giving us more sort of classical expressions of these chords. You can still hear a little percussion from bang, bang, bang in there as well, from that synth. Okay. Okay, so we got some element of the first chorus, I guess. The something like that, wasn't it? Oh gosh. Let's have another listen back to it. I've forgotten entirely. Here it comes. Okay, not in that bit. Oh yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's just another thing. It's definitely just a different thing. Okay. Wellity well. Interesting structure. You could basically say that that was just linear. It kept the same chord sequence the whole time, and it kept the same chords, blah blah blah, rhythm the same whole time, or the same meter at least. Well, like an 11 beat bar, if you like, or a 4 and then a 3 and then a 4. And what else? The beginning was slightly different to the rest, wasn't it? More ambient, and we had those extra bits of voice cutting through in the real closeness, and we didn't really have much else that was ever really close in the rest of it. It was very wavy, spacey, dancey, dance floor-y. So yeah, so an interesting one. What we thought maybe was a chorus didn't come again, so it's not really a chorus, is it? But it does say Waiting, which is the title of the track. What to make of that, I don't know. It's a bit confusing, really, isn't it? Okay. Solace comes next. Nice bass end. Okay. Wow. Okay. My favourite rhythmic complexity. So handily we've got the kick drum underneath all of this. So I'm going to first count all the kick drums. That'll give us a benchmark for what is going on in the synth. Okay, I think it was actually 16. I'll do one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Yeah, something feels off, but it could just be that this synthesizer is so syncopated that it means that the rigidity of the first beat actually isn't even very easy to hold on to. Da, 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 da. So that da, 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 that's happening over the first two, is it? Yeah. So that feels like it's yeah, no, sorry, that's 3s against 4s, isn't it, at the back, that beginning? Okay, 3s against 4s, da 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 da, after 1, 2, 3. And then, yeah, just has a bit of fun. I think we have another 3s against 4s, da 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 da. And then we have some more to go, don't we? We have 2 beats left because we've had 6 kick drums, and then if we're keeping everything in 4/4 bars, we would have 2 beats left before it goes to the next thing. But is that how many we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes, it is. So So dum comes on the 9 very clearly. Yeah, so it feels like it's those things on the floor, things on the floor, things on the floor. Depressing. It feels like we've got those, right? We've got whatever that was that I was just talking about, 3s against 4s. And then it's and then it's suddenly on the beat, but with a ghost note before, if you like. Dum ba dum ba dum. Is it that? That doesn't quite feel right to me. Yeah. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Is that? No. Let's hear it again. Okay, and then we do have a more complicated rhythm that second time. But it's fine for the first set of 4s. And then it gets more complicated. That's actually not too complicated. It just goes more on the beat, actually, which means it feels quite unusual next to the pretty regular 3s and 4s we've had before. Right. Okay, and then yeah, we do have some extra beats to deal with as well. Oh, what is that? Yeah, I always think there's not as many as there is. Something like that. Oh, and it's different the second time, of course. No, it's not even that, is it? Ah, gosh, this is going to drive me crazy. As if I wasn't already. Yeah, so that's quite nice and on the beat. But then and then yeah, there's 3 off the beat. And then we're into there. Okay, let's see if I can manage that. Okay, and then it's nowhere near as complicated that second time, but there's a slight more complication for the middle bit, which is on the B flat. We've got an interesting set of notes here as well. We've got B flat to G flat to G, which would suggest a sort of classical something like that, probably not a G major. Yeah, you can get that F sharp, G kind of going on there. A key change anyway, that's the most important thing there. And then it goes up to A and beautifully goes to D and then to C. So, I don't know, overall, that sort of says that we are in G minor, because all of those notes work in the harmonic version of the G minor scale. We did have an extra note there, didn't we? Let's hear what it is again. Yeah, I spoke over it. E, which is a new note, but is one sort of in keeping. Thank you. Sort of in keeping with G minor, at least in the sort of melodic variation. But realistically, I think that E is sort of saying that we are in a few different places at different times, moving quite quickly between them. Whoa! Okay. So we come back to the the B flat. Ba 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 do. Let's hear that again. Waking up the dead. Yeah, it's not super clear between the synth and Jane Paknia. The pitch is not as clear as it could be. They're doing it in two different octaves and they don't feel quite unified. But it's something like waking up, which is nice. It goes through that B flat major chord, which we had intuited from the suggested harmony to go with the bass. We've got a whoosh coming between the sections as well. Step back and look silly. Something like that. But surely that can't be the same arpeggio. Step back and look silly. Do you have that in there? Step back. No, it's not. Well, when is this bass note changing in comparison? It's not just straight there, is it? And then we get there. Something like that. I've forgotten it now. Yeah, really. It's interesting. These the chord of the arpeggio and the chord of the bass note don't really seem to align. Because if it was an F sharp there, step back and look, silly, it would make more sense with that F sharp there, but I can't hear the synergy between them. It might be there and I'm just struggling today. Great. What's interesting about those two phrases is they are pretty much equal and they are against the main beat. It fits with the da 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 da, but it doesn't fit with the 1, 2, 3, 4. But then again, maybe that 4 is actually not there. Just because we have constant kick drums doesn't mean that that's an intuition of 4/4. So maybe we've got a bar of 3, ba da 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 da, and then a bar of what? Ba da 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 da. Well, 3 with a bar of 2 on the end. 3 3 2. 3 3 2 comes up fairly often. 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 2. But then whatever happens there, the next phrase is confusing. It comes seemingly on the second beat of the next bar. 3 4. 1, 2. Yeah. As with all complex call and response, you forget the beginning by the end. Something like that. We've got mostly notes that are in coordination with that G minor. Even that silly fits, but we did also get a C sharp, which is more in accordance with that F sharp chord being just an F sharp chord as opposed to a D chord, which would lead us to a G chord with an F sharp in the bass. D chord, which would lead us to a G chord, just in case I said that wrong. My perceptions are odd today. So those things are more like preemptions to the voice itself. Okay, I'm just going to keep going for a while, try and get more of a measure of this track. Similar to the beginning, but not quite. Okay, so if we listen to all of that bit minus the intro again, it sounds like it is pretty much in two equal chunks, which in themselves they have kind of 4 different phrases. If we could think of ba 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 da ba da ba da, if we think of those as one phrase, 4 different phrases, or if we think of those as 2, then 5. But the way the others are treated, those first 2 seem like they are connected, whereas none of the others do. So here's our first, and our second. Okay. Da 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 da. Doesn't seem to have much to do with either of the previous things. Could have been there, I suppose. Interesting jump, isn't it? That's major 7th up or an octave up. Let's hear it one more time. I can. Yeah, so even a G extra there. Yeah, very wordy, but odd, so it sort of makes its own place. And that's okay. Okay, so that last one is actually the same as the second, just with the tag at the end. Same again. It's same the second time. So they're very similar, just with the tag at the end slightly different. So it is like a 1, an A, a B, an A, a B, or the, well, A, B, C, B. Really, the 2 A's there, as I was saying, and they don't have much in common. They're over the same chords, but they're not the same length. They're not the same order. They do have some of the same notes, but they don't go in the same order, and they don't. They have so much. They have more out of common than they have in common. Okay, it's very similar again, very similar to that first set of 4. There's slight differences, like instead of ba 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 da that we got the first time, we get a phobia, a slightly different line. Let's hear it one more time. So, there goes my phobia. Different to da ba da ba da da, and different rhythm as well. Okay, this feels more like 4 now, doesn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Yeah, and we've got a more constant melody. Many fewer disappearances there. We've got a tinkly glockenspiel kind of sound up in the rafters. Oh, and that O sort of is an upbeat to the, what's this, chorus, let's say. Yeah, we've still got a lot of syncopation. Back, then, da 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 da. Pretty interesting melody. It's constantly down, da, 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 and mostly by scale, but then we miss out that F. Yeah, it's also going at 2 different speeds. Da, 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 da. So we've got one fast, one slow. Yeah, one very syncopated and the other less considered, less syncopatively considered. Okay. Da, 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 da. That's not it. Not quite it. Da, 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 da. Yeah. Ah. Yeah, so something like that. Same thing then. Slow 2 notes coming down in the scale, but then the second half is ends up again. So we come down, ba da da da, and then we go back up, da da da. Not exactly the same way that we. Yeah, the way that it's emphasized really does disrupt that 4 feeling. We aren't really getting a strong first beat of any of these bars. Ba 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 da ba da ba da da ba ba. So the first beat is really noticeable by the absence of everything else, rather than because it's a clear beginning of a new bar. If we try and think of this as if it's not there, we could think of this as not syncopated. Let's give that a go. So that. Doesn't quite feel right. Sleep da 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 ba. Yeah, da 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 ba da da, or whatever it is. Da 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 da. No, da 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 da. Oh gosh, that is messing with my head. I'm going to stop doing it. But yeah, I hear this on the offbeat. Tell me if you don't. And it's the same melody twice there. Different words though. 3 times? No, not quite. yeah, individual differences, but the da 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 da. I'm not going to go into everyone because I imagine there could be loads, but it's close enough that it feels like a changeling you've just adopted into your house, someone who looks very like your baby, but is actually, well, who knows? Who knows? That's the point. That's why it's a scary mystery. So we get it twice the same, and then the third time has quite a lot of variation to it. Especially that make my jumping down the 6th there. Most of those had been stepwise movements, and there it's a big jump. A bit more drums then. Okay, well, yeah, this is slightly using a lot of my energy. So the drums come in towards the end of that part, and the, yeah, real use of kit, congas maybe, or bongos. I am not clear on the difference between congas and bongos. I'm going to look it up right now. What's the difference between congas and bongos? Oh, okay. Congas versus... Why not? Let's just actually watch a YouTube video which tells me how it's different. I will get it up for you. But let's just... oh, that's not even the right one. How do I get web? Me and web. There we go. Right, bongos are the smaller ones. Okay.
In this video, we're comparing congas and bongos because I've heard too many people is the most obvious difference between congas and bongos. Much larger than on bongo. The top brands mostly have are 7 1/4 inch for the macho and 8 5/8 inch for the hembra. If you're buying drum hits, follow the size charts because the same drum can receive different sizes for different drum head models. The fact that bongo has 2 drums connected to one another is the most fundamental design difference between the two. Congas can be mounted 2 drums on one stand, but it's not the same. You'll see a drummer playing on one conga, but you're not likely to see someone playing one bongo drum like just the macho and not the hembra.
So they're both called macho and hembra, which is interesting.
Bongo sounds are higher in pitch and thinner in terms of the air that they move. The drums are smaller, so they just can't impact the soundscape.
Can we hear them
like a
by
conga
themselves? Okay. I want to hear
the way the sounds are produced is also a major difference. Bongo sounds are made with mostly fingers, while congas are often incorporating the entire...
Okay, so I think in that little moment there we heard quite a clear difference.
Are made with mostly fingers, while congas are often incorporating...
That's clearly the bongos, whereas the doo-doo is definitely the congas. Cool. Good, thanks my man. Let's get back to the stuff and let's see what this is then. Is this some bongos or some congas? Maybe some conga is what I heard, but that could also just be a very high pitched tom, I suppose. And we've definitely got some more just general kit on it. But also, isn't it interesting, the kick drum is so clear and present and forward, and then these things are just expanding the space, just giving us a whole secret room in the audio behind us. Oh, until they're not. Okay. There's been a lot of this year. Just aggressive noise. It's not particularly aggressive here, I suppose, but it is an aggressive change, and it's just one noise. Quite high pitched, and it seems to be falling, and maybe finding new resonant pockets as it's falling. So it's not just but it's like that kind of thing. Not exactly like that. Oh, and what else? Yeah, we've got some muted voice. Hard to distinguish what the voice is saying, but it's there. The night is, I don't know. It's panning and it's jittering. Hard to make out. Right. And by this point, is it clear? It's only just about here that I worked it out, but this high-pitched sound is actually the bass, just through a distortion, and presumably through some kind of EQ that is really just taking out the lower frequencies. But they're coming back in around here. Yep, there's the A and the D. Ooh, it's pretty fat. It's getting very heavy. Those bass frequencies are really heavy. Right. That's okay. Oh man, this is yeah. I mean, if I was high, maybe this would be really, really wonderful. But right now, I'm just finding it hyperactive and complex. Which, yeah, no, those things broadly I like. So we've gone into something very soft, sort of, I guess, trip hop related, or connected to. A little bit like Igloo Ghost and Baby do. This slightly tinny sound, very sweet, sugary, and it's sort of taken the hard edges off our first section. We've got a clear beat with hi-hats and the normal stuff. We've got some comfortable electric piano sounds. We've got a comfortable bass sound, unlike this one. Very clean. Claps rather than snare, I think. So where the snare would come, we've got the claps. So yeah, I guess the other thing it's connected to is like two-step or garage, right? Something like that. Yeah. Is Jane Paknia British? Because if she is, then we might expect, if she isn't, she's New York based. Okay, so we wouldn't expect to find in her musical DNA anything to do with UK garage music. I don't know. That's how it feels, though, isn't it? It feels that kind of bright, tinny, sort of childlike kind of sound. And we've still got the threes and fours. The threes and the fours have moved to the vocals, da 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 da, and the synth. I don't think the bass is doing those in the same way it was. Oh no, it kind of is still. It kind of still is. But it put in an extra thing there. Yeah, so it still is doing it, and we're still getting the slight lumps from where the rhythms don't finish together. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. It's a fun second chord, because we basically keep that B flat chord on while we go to the F sharp, and then yeah. It's very laid back now, even with those slightly, in fact quite aggressive harmonies. It's so laid back that you don't really notice them. Feels like there's something bubbling uncomfortable under the surface. Okay, there was a nice bit of extra drum towards the end there. Complex rhythm on the hi-hat. Something like that. Okay, and we're into a new section. Is this section going to have the same DNA as the previous sections, all of which have had this threes and fours feel? Yes, it's basically the same section, but we took the stuff happening at the beginning of that section, and we mostly got rid of the instruments. We still had the drums, and we had vocals, but they were doing a very different thing. Rather than just one vocal doing this, harmony vocals, and they're just holding, but they carry on into that next bit. They carry on the harmony vocals, so it feels thicker. There's a few other things going on that make it feel thicker. The drums are doing more, and there seems to be some high-pitched distortion-filled synth as well, I think. Yeah, hard to make out, but I think it's there. I think it's somewhere in the mid right pan. It's doing that note basically. Ah, yeah, there it is, more clearly. So we've really hit the ground running with this new section, and we're not going back to the complicated melodies of the previous section. Yeah, they're still not regular melodies, but they're very much closer to that, and they're all diatonic as well. The only strange note is that F sharp there. Okay, so in this section, with that extra pitched instrument, Calliope synth or something like that, it's clearer, kind of woody sound, isn't it? It's clearer the fours, by which I mean the 4 beats in a bar, as opposed to the 4s that go over the 3 beats of the bar. Oh, complicated. But this is fine. We've got both dum fine. So that bum bum ba dum bum bum ba dum is fitting better with the 4s, I think. It isn't really. It's more like a just general 3. Oh yeah, no, it's actually really complicated. There's sort of, I want to call them micro rhythms, but micro rhythmic difference between, sometimes it's da 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 and sometimes it's da da da, right? Right? Difficult to tell. It's more complicated than it's worth going into. But isn't it complicated? Don't you feel slightly more educated listening to it? And there's also just a conversation going on over that bit, which seems to have been replaced by just some noise in the right headphone. Okay, a little bit of a dropout before then hitting back in with just to get some Solace around here. Yeah. So that's our chorus, I guess. There's just absolutely no care what that F sharp is doing. We have this chord, and then we just do that. The melody almost seems to do its own thing. It is tangentially related to the harmony underneath, but not always. So here, are we going from normal voice to... No, we're not. Okay. We're kind of going from one voice to many, but we're doing it in a more complicated manner than just having a bit of verse followed by just get some Solace around here. The percussive landscape here is very intricate. Have a listen to everything that's going on there. We can't hear the drums that came in, in the first half, which were way back in the studio and very reverberant. We can't hear those, but we can hear lots of other things. Hi-hats, 2 different kind of hi-hat sounds. Dick, 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 very, very high kind of sound. Kick drum, claps, some toms. So even though all of that is going on, it did feel like a bit of a step down in energy just there. What disappeared? Around right here. It's really the harmony vocals, but also maybe just one synth in the middle. Okay, and it's the outro, so we can calm down. We need to end the song somehow. A slow exiting or a fast exiting of all the instruments. A mix of both. Gosh, this is intense stuff. Probably not going to stay here for the whole 2 hours. Just, I don't think I can deal with it. I'm going to try Badddd. Let's see. Oh, well, that's familiar as the beginning. Same thing, wrong key. So that first one is down there. Here, I tell a lie, it's not quite the same thing. That's what we call a sus4 chord. That's a sus2 chord. Now, is it correct that you can write any sus4 chord as a sus2 chord if you change the voicing of it? Yes, it is, but the voicing therefore is dominant. The voicing is what tells us that it's one and not the other. Okay, so this is a sus2 chord because it goes 1, 2, 5, whereas this is a sus4 chord because it goes 1, 4, 5. The 4 and the 5 are the closest ones, whereas here 1, 2, 5, 1, 2, 5. Okay, get it? Now if we move that top note down here, 5, 1, 2. Well, we could say 5, 1, 2, or we could say 1, 4, 5, and it would be the same as that one, albeit down a semitone. You get it? So we've got a sus2 chord. Okay, so it's similar kind of voicings to what, and then we just move that up a semitone, which is a weird thing to do, but quite a lot of the fun with sus2 chords is that they bring the space with them. Jimi Hendrix used to use some things sort of similar to sus2 chords. Which are, well, he would put the third in as well, right? Okay. So he would put the third in, so it has a little more context to it than if it's just got the second. But nonetheless, what you've got there is something that can sort of bring a new scale with it, a new key. So if that's our scale, then suddenly we're not in that scale, but it doesn't feel very uncomfortable. It doesn't feel like a big change. I mean, it's bigger than some, but it doesn't feel super unusual. Okay? So I don't think it's about the hardware that Hendrix used that make these chords sound better. It's a pretty basic statement, if I may. I think that the harmony there is what did it. There are other people who use the same harmony, like Frank Zappa, but Frank Zappa doesn't use the extreme distortion that Jimi Hendrix would use, and he doesn't use the panning, and he doesn't really use any of the production techniques. It's about the way those chords interact with each other on a purely frequential basis. But I don't really want to get into that right now. I might well do that in the future. But anyway, yeah. So we start with two right next to each other that can't exist in the same key, but they are trying to do that, or they are trying to make a space where they are both acceptable to the ear, and it sort of works. But then we go somewhere else again. But it's actually not too far away. We go down to essentially the sus4 version of that sus2 chord. So we have this one, we move it up one, and then we kind of stay there, but we go to that lower version, and then we get a little more context as well. We get that extra note. So it sort of feels a little more comfortable, but then of course it's not going to stay there, is it? This is intense, difficult music that I'm not enjoying a massive amount. Right, yeah. So we do move back down, and then we have some variations. Let's listen to it in its entirety here, this intro, so we can hear how it changes and pans out. Yeah. So it is just based around those, but then on the fourth one each time, so we get 1, 2, 3, and then we get something slightly different, which puts us almost in a comfortable, well, I would say a comfortable space, but it doesn't really feel comfortable because it feels uncomfortable adjacent to the space that we've already made with these two. Like, doesn't feel that uncomfortable having those together, but then if we're doing that stuff as well, then we've got another space competing. So it all feels a little bit aggressive and what, psychedelic. I don't know. It's moving to all these different places. Okay, so then we've got something in the lower side of the synthesizer. Well, it is a very retro kind of synthesizer sound, isn't it? But it's just giving us power chords quite a lot lower. But they're in association. They're bolstering. Actually, they're bolstering these as sus4 chords as opposed to sus2 chords, which goes to show. I am constantly asking AI to do math rock crazy stuff. Should I stop that and give different prompts? I think that if you're looking for math rock crazy stuff, and you want an endless supply of that, then you're probably giving the right prompts. You could be more specific, and you could say, I want something that plays around with the time signatures of 11/4 or 11/8 more likely, and 7/4, and then hopefully, if it can understand that, it will give you something that is more specific. But I don't think that AI is at the level that you will be able to get emotionally fulfilling music from prompts like that. If it's serving your purposes, then go for it. I think probably what the AI is doing is basing itself off a certain amount of available math rock made by real people, and so I would suggest that is more valuable. Like, Polyphia, people like, I wouldn't say Polyphia is the extent of math in math rock, and they're certainly not the extent of rock, but there's plenty of bands like that. If you dive into metal, there's everyone playing around with time signatures in a arguably a more aggressive way, so that might not be quite what you're looking for. But you know, just explore the genres on, say, rateyourmusic.com. Go on there and see what's under math rock, and see how much of that you enjoy. I don't think music is made to serve the specific purpose of I like math rock and therefore I want to listen to more math rock. Doesn't matter what it is, I think. Right, so Battles is difficult because Battles, I think, are very specific a band, and especially that first Battles album was the only one with Tyonde Braxton on, so it is going to be difficult to find something that sounds like that, and that's, you know, the reason why that album is so highly considered. Which is a shame. It would be really nice if more people were interested in making that kind of sound, but I think that if you want to make more things that sound like that, AI probably is the right way, or you could make your own band and try and make your own music that way, and you don't necessarily have to be musically literate to do that. It broadly, music, even at the literacy level that people like Tyonde Braxton are at, is intuitive. That's very cool. I hope that you go on and do something similar. Anyways, I'm going to continue looking at this. We have basically made strides into the intro of this song. It's something that's playing around with semitonal relationships, but with comfortable sus4 chords, which seemed like sus2 chords to begin with, so I guess we've had a bit of a play there as well. Let's carry on. Wow, okay. So how does the beat sort of drop in here? Because before this, there's a lot of similarities between ba-da-da, ba-da-da, and then there's spaces in between. How does it then, when the drums come in, feel like a more regular beat? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. Oh yeah, are we 5? 1. Okay, let's try that again. 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, here's an 11/4 for you. This is Spotify, I'm afraid, not Suno. I mean, I wish it weren't Spotify, but it's the place where most of the music is, and it's got the most reliable interface. I do use Bandcamp from time to time, but there we are. Anyway, so we've got an 11/4 there, or we've got a bar of 5 and a bar of 6. It's quite a slow one. Let's check how fast it is. My favorite thing. Tap tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. It's around about 100, 102 maybe. Okay, so it's 100 beats per minute. Not that fast, not that slow really, but a pretty regular beat. And then over the top of that, we've got those ba-da-da, ba-da-da things, which are giving us semiquaver complexity on the rhythm side. We don't have anything more than that really, and we don't have any cross meters, cross rhythms going on. Yeah, but the drums are quite complex. There's a lot going on. There's some ride cymbal, which we haven't had previous to this on this album. The bass is really fun actually, because it's got these sudden slides up. something similar to that. The melody, let's talk about the melody. It's quite a lot. Da, 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 da. Simple enough. Da, 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 da. Simple. Both of those work together. There's only 3 notes there. And then that da 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 is basically a repeat of what we had before, but just lower, a fifth lower. Some extra bit on the end there. Until they can go. And it's going quite low, isn't it? And it almost feels swallowed by the rest of the stuff going on. We haven't got those high synths anymore. We've got, maybe they're doing the same thing, but they're lower. They're not up here, they're down there instead. And yeah, in fact, that makes sense why they're swallowing that note then. Because it's exactly the same range. So they really are getting over each other and very uncomfortable in that way. And not so much when it's up high like that. Then it's very much out of the way of that lower synthesizer. There's some vocal processing going on here as well. Yeah, I still haven't worked out this or found out, but there's some way of making a voice sound a lot older or a lot more male than it is. This is quite a sweet female voice most of the time, and here it gets this depth to it, which sounds a little more non-binary. There, very clear. Oh, depth. And then it comes out of that on the "Don't you know?" That comes into the to the other voice, to the clear, just standard female voice. So, yeah. Don't watch Gummo. No, I haven't seen it. I heard some people think it's good. Yeah, that's a nice bit of a melody to end the a lot more lyrical than most things that have happened here. Most things have been based on these small repetitious patterns and just elaborations of those, but this was something extra. Yeah, and playing with that note. Yeah, so if we're going between C and D flat here, mostly with these sus4 chords, we don't have any thirds. It doesn't say explicitly that we are in C minor. The flattened 2 of the D flat would say that we are in Phrygian mode. But that waiting gives us the major third on that C. So it feels flamenco, Spanish. I don't know. These days it doesn't really feel flamenco in Spanish. It feels like a cultural appropriation of the scales coming from the sort of Syrian maqams and Iranian music and all over the Arabian Peninsula. But in music as well, unique. It's not quite unique, but it's quite unusual, esoteric, if you like. It doesn't feel like it's an appropriation. It feels like it's just a unique expression, which nonetheless has similarities to that particular style of music. Okay, so we're still getting these chords, but now Are they flipped a little? It's still very similar, but because of the voicing change, I think now it feels more like sus2 chords. I'm going to have another listen. It's different chords. Yeah. So now it's more like sevenths, really, which if we had that note in there, which I don't think we do, it would still be sus4 chords, but it feels a little different. That's in the bass, which is still the C. Okay. Okay, so now, yeah, it's different. It's different. We've not got the sus4 chords really happening anymore, but we've added a note to them. Maybe we've got something approaching sevenths rather than sus4s, which feels more uncomfortable. Feels like more of a fight against two different things in your ears, but they're moving in complementary motion. They're moving together, so it doesn't feel quite as aggressive as it could, and as well the textures are quite comfortable. They're not really overblown, so it's an uncomfortable feeling where some things are pulling you apart and some things are sticking you back together. Yeah, and so then we're back to that beginning thing, but it's not up there anymore. It's down here, and we do exactly the same thing as we did there, even with the that kind of thing. That's there too. So we're back to the beginning, but we've changed it a little bit. We've got the drums underneath it as well, so it feels different, but the same. Okay, again, we're keeping on with these sort of groovy things. These songs have all had the same chord sequence going all the way through them, but they are quite uncomfortable things, and over the top of it is where we get our, I don't know, relief with the comfortable, to some degree, vocals. This part is a particular case in point with that I feel bad, just simple line. Now it is similar to what we got before. We've had that and that a little bit, but here it's more drawn out. It feels more expressionate. Expressionate. Yeah. Drums dropped out all of a sudden there, didn't they? That was a bit of a strange moment. Wouldn't expect them to drop out. And then fade back in, which is a pretty unusual thing for drums to do. Normally they would drop out for a moment and then with a fill or something, da-da-ba-da, come back in again. But here they are fading back in. That's quite a weird sound. Quite a fun scale there. So it's almost like it modulates halfway through from being a nice C minor scale to something more fitting in with the D flat. Yeah, I don't know. So this is our other section, which is more about the sevenths, isn't it? But they feel very similar. But it's much more low key, much less emotionally engaged, I think. Okay, and we got some extra voices coming in there, didn't we? Towards the end, maybe it was echoes. Let's. Yeah, so the extra voices are, well, I think it is echoes, but they're coming in and out and being louder and softer, and they're overlapping the main vocal, which is just keeping on these two main notes, those two notes, and they're right next to each other, and so when ah goes up there, you're getting ah at the same time, and they're blurring all over each other, making a real mess, real uncomfortable feeling. Oh. Well, we've suddenly emerged into a relatively sweet kind of place. Still feels a little bit crazy because of the harmony being a little unconventional, but let's see what's going on. So we've still got some of the same type of chords. That's where we are. So like, yeah, still a sus2 chord, but we've got a bass note that destabilizes that. Yeah, giving us a overall with the bass note that's an F, major 7, sharp 11, which is nice. I mean, it's nice, but it feels still quite tense. All these things that we've been having, this doesn't feel like any respite from that. Sorry, it's F sharp, isn't it, rather than F. F sharp, major 7, sharp 11. Yeah. It keeps going between those two notes now, so F sharp and F, or G flat and F, if you like. Anyway, we're in a different harmonic space, but we're doing some of the same things. The texture, though, is completely different. We've got a synthesizer that we didn't even have before. It's not the same sound, is it? Let's just check that from the beginning where it was clearest. Yeah, so there, ba 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 ba, really brash, kind of brassy kind of sound. And here, much softer, keyboard-esque kind of sound. And with those vocals just coming in and out. That extra note there, that's E. We've been playing with the G flat and the F there. To have the E, that's another note that's right next to it. All fighting each other, and it delays on that as well. Uncomfortable moment. But underneath all of that is coming that first synthesizer again in its lower setting. It really is like there's just two ships in the night passing each other and not interfering with each other at all. That, and then just this lugubrious melody just drifting all over the place. Yeah. Okay, now it feels a little closer, a little more locked in as that clap comes in and the bass comes in. We're back into our 11s as well. I haven't been counting, but Yeah, they're definitely back here. Clap, 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 clap on the the eighth notes, I guess. Just keeping that rhythm up. All of a sudden, we've just been in a space with very much not so, and now, yeah, big wall of distortion. It just hits that wall, and it just starts getting louder and more pervasive. And then just disappears. And then suddenly the drums are much less on, and now they're just relaxed. Yeah, it's much slow. I mean, it's the same tempo, but it's half time basically. Instead of these, we're very much back to these. Very comfortable. The voice has come lower. Still basically the same harmonic progression underneath, but now it's just the bass doing it. And the sound design is going a little crazy. Yeah, lots of fun things happening basically in the percussion and the drums here. I won't go over it all, but it's being mixed in quite an interesting way where they're just jumping out at you from different places. And then it's gone. Yeah, and so that wee sound there, don't know what that could have been to begin with, but it's been warped to such a degree that it comes in with this slow fade, quite unlike most of the other drums, which have the really aggressive attack right at the beginning. Okay, and now we're more into a more classic drum sound. Yeah, I guess this section we've been doing that more emotional bit, but it's been in the lower octave most of the time. Now it's back up to the top again. Okay, and there's a synthesizer trying to cut through as well, just going da 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 da. It's kind of like what the ride cymbal was doing in the first section with drums. Even more emotional, extra notes, extra expressive phrasing. While the drums really become the main focal point. It's kind of like happens in Crystalline by Björk. You get the drums just become absolutely the main thing, taking the focus, and it's fairly rare for that to happen, and it can be really exciting because drums have such potential for interesting rhythms, interesting textures. There's so much going on in a good drum track, and that is what's happening here. It's unpredictable, and to go into everything that was happening would take a long time. So I'm not going to do that, but just enjoy it. Okay, but did not guide us all the way out of that track. Too many changes, I would say, but we did also get that extra E note again on the melody there, and that's really giving us not a Phrygian scale but an octatonic scale. Octatonic is fun because most scales are, well, pentatonic or septatonic, meaning that they either have 5 notes or they have 7 notes. But an octatonic scale has 8 notes. And so it feels very unusual in comparison to our standard 7-note scales. And it sort of wanders its way between scales that we might recognize. Like this, we would recognize from Dorian. And even to the next note, we might be okay with that. But then to that note, suddenly now we're in Lydian. Still Lydian. This one works in Lydian too, as does this. So it's like well, when we get to this note, it feels like a sudden shift, but it had been prepared for before. And then there, well, we're back in a flat, a minor mode. So maybe it's Dorian to Lydian, back to Phrygian. 3 different modes that we go through there. Really strange feeling. Okay. Anyway, that's, yeah, kind of what's going on with the melody here. Okay, so this is our disengaged sevenths kind of feel section, but it's been put through this bit crusher effect, making everything super distorted, super gamey sounding. Even the voice is going through this, and it's getting heavier. Oh, but not the drums. In fact, it was just for those 2 or however many bars. And now this. Very comfortable. Yeah, chip tune, exactly. Okay, instead in this section we're not getting the overwhelming distortion, we're getting an overwhelming reverb. The sound is just not disappearing like you would expect it to normally. We're just getting this oppressive wall building up in the background. Feel it building. Okay, and then that section, sorry, I'm just a bit quieter. I've turned it up a little bit. Is this better? Is that better? Can you hear me? Okay, I don't know, it doesn't matter. But anyway, yeah, so we got that. So we've had that same kind of motif, and then we've got it in the 5th above as well. Alright, well, never mind. I'll try not to talk over the music for a bit. Okay, so it was a 5th higher, and then it's a 4th higher, and that feels strangely more uncomfortable, but that partly that might be just because everything is also building with it and becoming more chaotic and uncontrolled. Oh, and dissipating. Well, we recognise this, don't we? We recognise it from the beginning. Yeah, we recognise. I said I wasn't going to talk over the music, and then that's exactly what I did. Whatever, it's done. We got exactly the same thing that we got at the beginning, but at the beginning it was up here. It's now down in our preferred range. We've got that most of the way through the thing, and then we just get this crazy extension of the notes as we end. Just giving us a weird chord that morphs into a softer kind of sound as it continues, and then just fades. Boy oh boy, that is some in-your-face music, but with a strangely sweet tone. Yeah, okay, I wasn't really expecting that, and it was more than I was really looking to deal with today. But you've been uncharacteristically excited in the chat. That's very nice to hear. Please feel free to come back. I will try and do another thing on Thursday, which will be probably a continuation of what I have been doing on Thursdays. A deep dive into the music of Aurora, which is significantly less harmonically exciting. But the point is to try and get to grips with straightforward, understandable music composition. That's what we're trying to do. Hope you come. Thank you very much. If you don't, have a great, lovely rest of your life, and enjoy yourself. And yeah, best of luck with everything. Bye bye.